All right. So I'm just going to do a little housekeeping to start us off real quick and just do a little disclaimer, so bear with me. Just so everyone knows, this video meeting may be recorded and played back in portions of entirety on all of our intercom stations. By participating in this meeting, you're agreeing to your likeness. So if you're not okay with that, feel free to punch out at any point in time. That's totally fine. If you do not consent, again, feel free to leave. If you engage in any inappropriate activity or meeting, you may be asked to leave. We ask that you just not record for your own personal use any of this video today. If you do post it to social media, it will be removed. And with that, thank you so much for bearing with me. I'll turn it over to Carson and Kennedy.
Everybody can hear me now, yes?
Oh, there we go. Hi.
Hey. Hi, everybody. It's good to see all of your smiling faces. So we're just a moment away from welcoming in Keith Urban. We're really excited to have you guys meet Keith. I've never met Keith. Kennedy, have you ever met Keith?
No, not yet.
So we're all going to
list being checked off today.
I know, right? We're all going to be meeting for the first time together. And we love that you're a part of the radio.com family. We host the Carson and Kennedy Show in Boston, Massachusetts. So right now, without further ado, please welcome Keith Urban.
Hi, gang. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hi, Carson. How are you? Hi, Kennedy.
Hi, Keith.
Hello. And hi, everybody. Yeah, nice to see everyone. Oh my gosh, we got quite the crew happening right here.
Yeah, you guys with the masks.
Look at the Robin gang there.
They came correct today.
I'm going to give a little tip to everybody that's watching. In the upper right-hand corner, you can switch the view from speaker view to gallery view. And what that will do is when Keith is talking, it'll put Keith right up on the big screen. So you don't have to look at everybody. You can get a really good look at Keith.
Don't recommend that.
So, well, welcome. First of all, thank you for doing this today, Keith. I want to talk about The Speed of Now, Part 1. I mean, there's just some amazing songs on this from Polaroid and the duet with Pink, and specifically that song with Pink. How did you end up doing that song with Pink in the middle of a pandemic? Are you sending voice notes back and forth to one another? Did you get the chance to go into the studio? Because to me, the chemistry is there. It sounds like you did it at the same time in the same studio.
It's a long story, but the short version is I recorded this song in bits, in some of it in Nashville, some of it in Los Angeles. I actually ended up recording my vocal in LA, which is where Pink lives, before I had gotten the song to her. So I thought, well, I gotta sing it first, and then send her the song to see if she likes it. So I happened to be in LA because my wife was shooting a project out there. So we were out there, recorded the vocal, and that must have been, this is crazy, it would have been April, May of 2019.
Wow.
And towards the end of that year, managed to get the song to Pink, and she loved the song and wanted to do it. That was around about February, March of 2020. And then, of course, everything stopped. And I had to just wait to get her vocal, which didn't happen until about June of 2020. So I was sitting on that song with just me singing it for the longest time, dying to hear Pink's voice on it. And of course, by then I was in Nashville. She was in California, so she recorded her vocals out there. Had she been able to do it the year before, we would have been able to do it together, but we did it separate. But man, let me tell you, hearing her voice on that song the first time I got to hear it was amazing. It was such an honor to get to sing with her.
Cute. Oh my God.
So, like, when you send it to her and you say, here's this song I would love for you to be a part of, do you give a note? Like, here's what I want to hear? Or do you just give it to her and say, I will just take your gift?
You just send the song. You just send the song and pray. Please like this song. Please like this song, Pink. it's nerve-wracking sending a song. Any artist that's done a collaboration like this experiences the same strange feeling of really hoping the person likes the song and wants to do it. You know, I was prepared to have her say, not quite the right song for me, let's find something else. But I really loved the song and thought she would too, and I was elated when she sang that.
Keith, I was looking at your website today, checking out some of the merchandise for this video one, and I noticed there's a tour link on your website, and there's a listing of a tour in Australia starting in December.
Yes.
And so you mentioned the pandemic, and you know, getting out and playing in front of crowds, that's what you've done your entire career. Have you thought about that moment when you're in an arena in Australia and now you're going to walk out for the first time and however long it'll be by that point?
Yeah.
What will be the first song?
Well, first of all, I hope it happens somewhere sooner than that. I mean, that Australian tour was meant to be December 2020, and then we were starting our world tour, kicking off in Australia and then going all through the US and Canada and over to Europe. We were supposed to be Europe in October of last year. So everything got pushed off. But I'm hoping that there might be some way that we can play shows in the States, you know, in the summertime or late summer, early fall would be really, really great. So I hopefully don't have to wait till December next year to play a show. I'm ready to play right now, you know. It's very strange not being able to on stage.
Ready to sit in a crowd and scream, yell, and dance my face off too. Yeah, I think we all are.
Who's she?
Yeah, because you can't do a virtual mosh pit.
Station that got
Doesn't
this.
work. Not the same.
It's not the same when
In
everybody's
Boston.
singing the same song as you and vibing to that song the same way you are. It's a truly special thing, and so I can't wait for it to come back.
Yes. Yeah, me too.
And what would be a song, like the first song to get back to a concert? Have you thought about
Well, yeah, it may be the opening track of The Speed of Now, a song called Out the Cage. I think that might be the very fitting lyric, sentiment, energy, and just absolute utter breakout liberation that I would want to hear as first song back in that sort of setting. So probably that one.
that? Go ahead, Kennedy.
Okay, so one of the questions we had wanted to ask you was about, we were talking about collaborating with Pink, but as a guitar player, which is something you do at virtuoso level, I feel. Who are some guitarists you love working with, or you love to watch play?
Oh my gosh, that's a big list. And I've been very
Rick
lucky.
Salinger.
I've been very lucky. Oh, that's our cat. This is that's lovely. That's absurd.
Hey, what are you doing? I don't want to do this.
I gotta get my car.
No, you
Louis
can't.
was rescued, and we found him, and he is.
I'm not doing it.
adorable.
Stop. Why would I do it?
The guitar. Well, there's too many guitar players that I love, and they're huge influences. Oh gosh, I mean, yeah, it's too long a list. I think. Yes, too many. It's literally dozens and dozens of guitar players that have influenced me and that I've gotten to play with over the years, and been very lucky to become friends with too. I would say a huge amount of people I text regularly are all my tribe guitar player friends from all genres. It's crazy.
Really stop.
It's important to have a tribe.
How often do you still play? How often do you still practice, even getting to the level that you've achieved?
I just play. I play because I love playing, and I'm always sort of working on. I think I work on things in my head, and then when I get on the guitar, trying to figure it out. But there's something to be said for not playing for a long time. There's actually I'm missing it kind of feeling, and there's a renewed passion that comes with getting back on the guitar and playing again. But I have them lying around the house, and I play fairly regularly, just to play, because I love playing. You've got one behind you there, I see, Carson.
Yeah, my son and I started playing, I think, last year. We're learning.
Good.
it's very hard. Although I just found out today that my son has asked to take drum lessons from our worship leader at church, and so that's I don't know if I'm quite ready for my son to have a drum kit in the house.
Dude, you cannot have a drum kit in that house. Everyone on the block will hear it. You're exposed to other humans.
So I'll sing the praises of electric drum kits and a set of headphones. They're actually really good. They're super compact, and pop the headphones on and nobody will know. It's great.
Yeah, I've seen
Right.
I've seen videos where you're playing every instrument. Are you self-taught on pretty much every instrument?
Well, I started playing guitar when I was 6, and just was taught some sort of basic chords, and then just all the lead playing stuff I just picked up by watching, really mimicking other people and trying to figure things out. Wished I'd had YouTube back then because it would have sped up my playing exponentially, you know. But I was back still sort of figuring out how to slow records down. But drums and piano and all those sorts of things, I was able to be around those instruments. My dad was the drummer, and so we had a drum kit at the house. And my grandfather was a piano player, so he had a piano at his place. So I ended up just having access to these instruments and took to a lot of them. I'm not really great on any of them. Guitar's my main influence, and I play all the rest like a guitar player.
So I saw you had an opportunity to play with Barry Gibb, and
Yeah.
I watched your chat about that, and your eyes just lit up, and I could really tell that the influence that the Bee Gees had on you and their music. Can you talk a little bit about their music and then also getting to play with Barry?
Yeah. I mean, they're just such a surreal, creative force, those brothers. It's one thing to write a bunch of hit songs, but to then do it repeatedly over multiple decades as music changes and they adapt to the new musical setting. Because, a lot of people forget those guys were massive in the mid to late 60s with huge pop hits that were more sort of influenced from Beatles and things like that. And then into the 70s, they went quiet and then re-emerged in the late 70s with the explosion of disco and just nailed that genre with the sort of R&B fusion that was really unique, and the falsetto singing, and then Saturday Night Fever came out. And they just kept reinventing themselves and writing these extraordinary songs. And then after all of that period, or even through it, they were able to write these extraordinary songs for other people, like Islands in the Stream and Emotion, songs for their brother Andy Gibb, songs for Diana Ross, and just so many people, and produced records, and Barbra Streisand, and just like, it's really surreal, the creative output of those guys. So to get to meet Barry was incredible, but to get to be in the studio with him and sing next to him, which is how we did it, which was great. It was so refreshing to have an old school situation happen where we weren't doing it separately. We literally were side by side, because this was all before the pandemic came. We had recorded this before that happened, and we got to stand side by side in the studio with the band playing the song. Just real. It was incredible.
Oh my God, I would have been like, can you just sing that one falsetto part for me, just one quick? Just real fast, it'll be fine, and we'll be done.
Yeah, no, it's extraordinary, and he is so incredibly humble and gracious and kind, and you would never in a million years think he's had the career he has. It's truly extraordinary.
You talked about being out on the West Coast with Nicole, and you recorded some out there. So I have a question. This actually comes from my mother-in-law, Mimi. She wanted me to ask you, every time she sees you and Nicole together, it always appears that you're still like a young married couple on their honeymoon. And she says, how do you two, being so busy with your careers, manage to keep that chemistry? How do you focus on that? What do you do?
Good question.
Everything we did at the beginning, we just still do it. So if we do what we did at the beginning, it feels like it's the beginning. It feels like it did at the beginning. It's no different. I mean, but
I wish I would.
this is not advice for anybody. I can't give marriage advice. I hate hearing when I read clickbait that says it's not advice. I only know what works for us. Everybody figures out their own dance. But I feel very, very grateful every day. I really do, and that's key as well.
The first thing I thought when I saw the new album, The Speed of Now Part 1 is, oh my gosh, where's Part 2? Is there a Part 2 to The Speed of Now Part 1?
Yeah, I did that because I just was having a really prolific season at that time when I was writing these songs and finding songs, and I recorded probably close to 40 songs, maybe 35, 40 songs for this record. Not all of them got finished. Some of them are, you know, not even fully finished written, but there's embryos of, I think, really good songs there. And I didn't want to do a double album. I just thought, well, let's break this up. These songs feel like they're ready to go. This feels like a cohesive record. And maybe there'll be a part 2. So it just gave me a way. Actually, making a part 1 and 2 was how I could then figure out which songs would be here and which songs would be there. Because I couldn't. It's a strange feeling having to let songs go. It's like there's only so much room in the lifeboat, and like I don't wanna make those decisions on songs. I mean,
Who's gonna be Rose and who's gonna be Jack, and that's how it works.
Exactly. That's an extreme analogy because they are songs, but I just I hated thinking that they would just become these orphan songs that would never exist. So I'm trying to find a home for them as well.
Is there a song that sat around for a really long time that you never thought would go anywhere that ended up becoming, you know, successful for you, or made it to an album that you just thought, no way, I'll never put this song out?
I've had that happen a couple of times. When I did the Golden Road album in 2002, we had 4 singles off that album. The 5th single was going to be a song called "You Look Good in My Shirt," and we were about to come with that as a single, but I'd already written and recorded a song called "Days Go By," which was going to be on the next album. And so we just made the decision to go ahead with the first single from the next album, and poor "You Look Good in My Shirt" never became a single. It was like very close, and it disappeared. 7 years later, I re-recorded that song and released it, and it became a single. So that was crazy for that song to sit around that long like that. But on this album, there's a song called "Better Than I Am," which I wrote for the album that was going to be on the Ripcord album in 2015. And I just didn't feel like it fit that record. And so I told my co-writer, sorry, it's not on this album, it'll be on the next one. I make Graffiti You in 2018. I'm like, I don't think this song fits this record either. So I called my co-writer, sorry, it's not on this album either.
Yeah, heartbreaking.
And I
already booked my vacation.
I know, right? And I get to The Speed of Now 5 years later, and I called him up and I said, I think it's on this album. And he's like, yeah, sure it is.
Yeah, right, whatever, Keith.
Yeah. So it was great to see that song finally find the right home.
Well, we hope we get to see you a lot sooner than December for sure. And we have all of these wonderful people in here that are huge fans. And I believe we're going to take a group photo with everybody on the video chat here. So I think what we can do is, Dana, are you going to manage this, or how do you want this to happen?
Yeah, if you just want to count down 3, 2, 1, I'll take a screenshot and everyone will get it sent to them.
Okay, so everybody, if you want to move in real close, if you're there with other people, and make sure we can all see your face really well. I see some people are wearing their masks and their signs and everything, Keith. They look amazing.
Seriously, the Robin crew is on point today.
How many people at the Robin house? It's like 35 people having a party.
What are you doing, man?
I love it. All right, Dana, I'm going to give you the countdown. On the count of 3, we'll all smile, wave, whatever it is we're going to do. In 3, 2, 1.
I heard it.
Perfect.
Get it?
Oh, it's so cool. Gosh, it's nice to see everybody. It really is.
Yes.
Good.
Well, thank you, Keith. Again, it's great to meet you.
Let's play a song before we go.
Yeah, let's do that. Person, you're like, well, I'm ready to go. And I'm like, no, we get a song out of it.
I totally forgot.
How is this? You do this for a living and you forget the best.
I was keeping an eye on the time.
I'm going to put person on mute, and I'm going to say right now, ladies and gentlemen, for your listening pleasure, Keith Urban.
You know, all we have is time right now. Who's going here? But it was so funny. It was like when we wrote and we're recording this first song of the album, Out the Cage. I was telling my writers, it'd be great to have Nile Rodgers on this song. And they were like, yeah, do you know him? And I said, I do. I'll call him up. So I called him and I'm like, Nile, where you at? He goes, I'm at home, where everybody is. So he recorded his guitar parts in Connecticut where he lives. But it was just so funny to go, where was Nile? At home. Everybody was at home. Okay. How about this one? I can see you over there staring at your drink, watching that I sing alone.
Tony.
And chances are you're sitting here in this bar, 'cause he ain't gonna treat you right.
Is there anybody else on it?
Yeah.
It's probably not my place, but I'm gonna say it anyway. 'Cause you live a lie.
Doesn't sound very good.
You haven't
Can you
built
hear
a
us?
fire, had a little fun, hadn't had a
Can you hear
smile
me?
in a little while.
I don't
You know what I'm
watch
talking
this.
about?
I'll keep going.
And looks good on the sky.
Video.
Looks good on that neon buzzing on the wall, but darling, it don't match your eyes. I'm telling you, you don't need that guy. No. It's so black and white, he's stealing your thunder. Baby blue ain't your color. Not trying to be another just pick you up kind of guy, trying to drink you up, trying to take you home. But I just don't understand how another man can take your son and turn it ice cold. Real life is having enough to drink, and it's making me think that I'm just mine. Tell you, if I were a painter, I wouldn't change it. I just treat you right. Pick up the guitar, join me, Carson. Looks good on the sky. Chicken. Looks good on that neon buzzing on the wall, but darling, it don't match your eyes. And I'm telling you, you don't need that guy. No. It's so black and white, he's stealing your thunder. Baby blue ain't your color. Oh, 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 oh. Looks good on the sky, good on that neon buzzing on the wall, but darling, it don't match your eyes. And I'm telling you, you don't need that guy. It's so black and white, he's stealing your thunder. Baby blue ain't your color. Blue ain't your color, baby.
Sounds fantastic. Wow.
Wow. That hit me in a place, Keith. Hit me in a place.
You need to get out more, Kennedy.
You are not lying. You have no idea how true that is.
We won't do. We won't do.
Are you available for lessons? I know you don't have a lot going on at the house right now.
I'm available for weddings, parties, anything.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Keith. We really do appreciate you.
My pleasure, Kennedy. Thank you, Carson. Everybody, thank you for joining us today. Hopefully, we get to be back on stage playing in real time.
Look, come here. Come look at Nana's computer. Come over.
We'll see you soon.
Look at it.
You bet. Blessings, everybody. Bye.
Bye. Woohoo.
You're
We
weird.
did it.
Don't do it.
Thanks, you guys, for being here. We appreciate it.
Yes, that was amazing.